The topic we're going to talk about today is our home, our planet, the Earth. Earth is the third planet from the Sun, and is the only one we know of that has life on, so far. The Earth is about 4.5 billion years old, and life first appeared on it about 1 billion years after it was formed. Inside the Earth isn't all the same. In fact, there are a number of different layers. The three main layers are known as the core, the mantle, and the crust. Let's start in the middle and move outwards to the surface. The area in the middle of the Earth, at the centre, is the core. The core itself actually has two parts, the inner core and the outer core. The inner core is solid, and it was discovered in 1936. Scientists think that it's mainly made of two things, iron and nickel. The inner core is extremely hot, about the same temperature as the surface of the Sun. Around the inner core is the outer core, and it's made of the same thing, mostly iron and nickel, but while the inner core is solid, the outer core is liquid. Altogether, the core is about 15% of the Earth's volume. Once we leave the Earth's core, the next area is the mantle. The mantle is the largest part of the Earth, about 84% of the Earth's volume. The mantle is mostly solid and mostly made of rock. The mantle's temperature is about 500 degrees C near the top, but as you go deeper and deeper, it gets hotter and hotter. The temperature near the core is over 4,000 degrees C. Because of these very high temperatures, the rock in the mantle can actually move or flow. The hot rock at the bottom, near the core, rises up and cools down when it reaches the surface. The cool rock at the surface sinks back down to the core. This is called convection, and it happens very slowly, over very long periods of time. Above the mantle is the crust. Compared to the core and the mantle, the crust is very thin. It's actually only 1% of the Earth. The crust can be anywhere from 5 to 70 kilometers thick. The thin parts are the ocean crust at the bottom of the sea. The thick parts are on land on the continents. This is called continental crust. However, the crust is not one solid piece of rock. In fact, it's broken up into a number of different pieces, called plates. These plates float on top of the mantle and move around. They move very slowly, but where two plates meet, you get earthquakes, volcanoes, and mountains. We'll talk about the plates and what happens when they meet in another video. The surface of the Earth is home to many different environments. There are high mountains, long rivers, tropical rainforests, and hot deserts. However, the surface of our planet has not always looked the same as it does now. In fact, it changes greatly over time. The main things that change how the planet's surface looks are the movement of the plates and erosion. Erosion is caused by many things such as wind, but one of the major things is water. One thing that makes the Earth different to other planets is the large amount of water there is on the surface. The Earth has sometimes been called the blue planet because of this water. 70% of the surface of the Earth is covered in water, mostly in the oceans. In fact, more than 97% of the water on Earth is salt water, seawater. Less than 3% is fresh water that we can drink. What's more, almost 70% of this fresh water is ice. Only a tiny amount of the total water on Earth is the water we see in rivers and lakes. If we keep moving up, away from the surface of the Earth, we come to the atmosphere. The atmosphere is made of gas, including the air we breathe. Without the atmosphere, Earth would not be able to support any life. The atmosphere is 78% nitrogen and 21% oxygen, with very small amounts of other gases. These other gases, such as carbon dioxide and methane, are some of the gases that cause the greenhouse effect, keeping the planet warm. They're called greenhouse gases. The atmosphere stays around the Earth because of the Earth's gravity. As you move further away from the Earth, the atmosphere gets thinner and thinner, until you're finally in space, where there's no air at all.